And welcome to the space weather. Looking at stereo A first here, as we see a coronal mass ejection headed to a geospace near you. So you can see the date stamps there. That kicked off about midday yesterday. And let's look at some views of the sun. First, 193 angstroms. This is roughly 9 hours of solar activity, 8 hours and 45 minutes if I remember correctly. Basically no features, and the 10.7 centimeter radial flux has dropped back down to 68. So back to solar minimum level activity, although we keep crossing the line. We'll talk about it in a minute. 304 angstrom view. Last 8 hours and 45 minutes shows a large filament up there in the northeast. Not sure if that one has collapsed or if it's moved around to the far side of the sun. And we're not even going to look at the coronagraph because we got to talk about things like liquid metallic hydrogen. So thanks to our patrons. And if you're not a patron yet, please become one, especially if you want to see our updates immediately. And when I say immediately, they often happen immediately. By the way, shout out to Tom. Scum Incorporated colleagues like Ron and Jody, as well as Chris and Chris, and many others. Also, you can donate if you like on PayPal. Or if you'd like to purchase some CBD products, please do it through the Hemp Lucid campaign that we have linked below the video. Just head down below the video, click the box down there, and click the link, and you'll see a spaced out campaign specifically formulated for our spaced out viewers. There's a teaser. Let's move on to the real-time solar wind, which we just saw an uptick in the solar wind speed. Could be that coronal mass ejection that we saw a couple days ago, or perhaps it's a very weak coronal hole wind stream. There's the data from ACE. And I would note that we've just gone over and under this line. So we were up at 74 solar flux units yesterday for the 10.7 centimeter radial flux, and now we've dropped back down to 68. So still a little higher than we were and much higher than predicted values. That's a good thing. Let's talk about National Preparedness Month, which is September, and that's Disaster Preparedness Month. Let's talk about growing mushrooms. If you're interested in growing mushrooms, check out Climate Revolution by David Dubine. Links to this also in the video, in the description, that is. And yeah, this is something we're looking at doing here, and it's got great information. So yeah, check it out. We'll put links where you can buy the book. It's $12.95 if I remember correctly. And there's the cover art, and there's the webpage linked to oilseedcrops.org below the video. And here are the geospace magnetosphere movies. Sorry for getting the video out so late today, folks. It's incidental. There's a lot of software involved. Anyway, there's the density. Here's the pressure. Let's rewind that to the beginning. I'm going to try to keep the video as short as possible, folks, but we need to put this data in, as it cannot be accessed unless you're constantly screen ripping it. University of Michigan, we implore you, please release the archive data. And next, the geospace ground magnetic perturbations. We do see a spike about halfway through the video here. We expect to see some current flow through. And we're going to talk about the current state of current, but not currency today. No currency today, just current, the current state of the current. So yeah, there's 4 hours of the excuse me. There's 4 hours of the geospace magnetosphere movies. KP is at 2. Ionosphere movies. I thought it was loaded already, folks. I apologize for the delay. We are putting these out unedited. It's practically like a live stream. We're seeing a wobbly magnetotail side of the ionosphere here. All right, let's talk blasphemy. All right, but first we're going to talk about the X-ray flux, which is seeing some action, but still not even getting to B-class flare since July 7th. There's the electron flux. We see a small dip. Otherwise, pretty high levels. Charging hazards are minimal. Here's your planetary locations. By the way, 9/9 is National Just Say No Day. And if it's not, it's now become National Just Say No Day. And it's not just say no to anything in particular. It's just to, in an infantile fashion, just say 9/9. There's where things will be in 7 days, just following the full moon. Electron flux has dipped a little bit, still at very high levels in the relativistic electron flux realm. This greater than 2 mega electron volt fluence. And there's a GOES magnetometer, and we see some sawtooth type patterns in that. Let's see what's going on in the GOES. I mean the Gong 2. And we do see some current sheet charge switching here going on, as if the South Pole is taken over. We see a weakening of the North Pole, the North Polar field there, and you can see the coronal hole in the North Pole. A weakening North Pole solar polar field is not what we really want to see. However, we are seeing it. So probably part of the mechanism keeping the sun at solar minimum conditions, at least from Earth's perspective. All right, no more controversy. Here's where stuff is above your head, at least above my head at this time of day. And that needs to be refreshed, actually. All right, there's where stuff is above my head. And I just wanted to feature one particular object, one of the largest, physically largest stars that can be seen with the human eye. Orion's belt, the center star, points in a perpendicular line right to Betelgeuse. Yes, it's a red supergiant, and if it was in our solar system, it would be about the size of Mars's orbit, which means you would be well inside of Betelgeuse if it was around here. Easy to see throughout a large part of the year in the northern hemisphere. Super famous red supergiant star. All right, I don't know why I included that. It's not really any kind of news. Earthquake rundown. We see a large quake in the Aleutians there. Let's go down the list. About 24 hours ago, we see one in Afghanistan at depth. Check it out, 188.9 kilometers. Also a 4.6 in Iran, 5.0 in the Philippines. Here's a 4.4 in Argentina. That one's at depth. 5.1 at Papua New Guinea. Extreme depth there, 371 kilometers. Please leave a comment if you think that there are volcanoes off the coast of Oregon. 4.5 near Megalopolis, Greece. Megalopolis, Greece. I didn't know there was such a place. Learn something new every day. Anyway, there's a location of that quake. Dear Junkware, I'm going to smash you. I'm going to smash you into oblivion, Junkware. I can't even click on these stupid things. It is ridiculous. Holy Junkware, Batman. Thanks, taxpayer dollars. You're really doing a great job, USGS. Good God. 4.6 at the Reconnaissance Ridge, near the surface. A 4.3 at Tajikistan, at depth. So a rash of deep quakes in the past 24 hours. 4.3 at Tajikistan, that one's at depth, nearly 200 kilometers. A 5.5 at Tanzania. I think that might be the largest of the past 24. 4.5 at Japan, 4.9 at Japan. One of those at depth. 4.8 at Solomon Islands, 4.5 at Italy. That one at depth. Heads up if you're in an earthquake-prone region, folks. Have a plan. Be an asset, not a liability in the event of a disaster. This one out in the middle of nowhere in the Aleutian Islands at 5.3 magnitude. 4.7 at the Philippines. And a 4.9 at India about 2 hours ago. Picture of the day on Volcano Discovery is this Vesuvian Strombolian eruption, rather, at Krakatoa. Check out the time-lapse photo of that thing. This is not a place to be erecting a campsite, as your buzz will be killed quickly by flying molten rocks. Etna back on the list, Strombolian explosions showing up there. So, geological uptick, folks. Dacono exploding, back on the list. 6,000-foot plume there. Popocatépetl back to exploding, 22,000-foot plume there. Sangay, possible emissions. What? Possible. Revenador, 14,000-foot ash plume and explosive activity there, and also explosive activity at Sabancaya, producing a 21,000-foot ash plume. So please don't fly your John Denver-style ultralight over that. You could end up worse off than John Denver ended up. Did he just crash into trees? He certainly didn't crash into a volcano. Check out the Himawari real time. It's fantastic. I thought I had to migrate, Governor, but I got it to play. There you go. If you've not got bandwidth, all I can say is God bless us, everyone. If you're able to view our videos from a place with a dirt floor using a $40 cell phone, please leave a comment. Leave a comment and a few shillings in the jar. Play that one more time. The Himawari satellite, an ode to flat earthers. Here's your weather.gov, and we've got like frost and freeze advisories in northern Maine as well as in Nevada. It's barely a week into September. Here's the eastern jet stream. And here's the western jet stream. And it's going to be getting cold where I am in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Lightningmaps.org is showing us some lightning on some maps. Pretty nasty system there off the coast of North Carolina, Virginia. And let's check out the weather radar. Got some thunderstorms over the central U.S. once again. As it has been, let's just say, a rather wet year. A rather wet year. What do you think? Leave a comment. Here's the NASA GOES water vapor map. And we're going to zoom in on that convergence over the Oklahoma Panhandle while we show people every day what chemtrails are and what chemtrails aren't. What they are is non-existent, and what they aren't are all these parallel lines. Anyway, those are completely positively charged regions there. I mean, that is radiological protonic features if you've ever seen them. Well, there they are, folks. I mean, face the music. None of that stuff is caused by HAARP. If you know anything about radio propagation, please leave a comment about how much wattage it would require to propagate those lines in that many clouds. But no, we know it can be done by putting metals in the clouds and doing all kinds of other things that humans don't have the capability to do on a large enough scale, or even close to a large enough scale. Oh, it seems like I've started the "that is censored and that is a hole in the ground" section early. Let's move the hell on, because there's so much stuff to cover. It's going to be vulgarity free. Uh-oh, I've got the G word on the screen. Sorry, that G word is a scam and not a verb. So just so you know, there are alternatives, such as DuckDuckGo. They have a great browser. We're messing with it on the phone right now, trying to vet it before we tell anybody to use it. As we use the Brave browser to make this video, it's a real version of Chrome. It'll speed up your PC. It'll prevent unwanted nonsense, since you are not a product. And these devices are designed to increase your productivity, not reduce them. If you weren't aware, big tech companies meter the success of their software by how much time you spend on it, not how much time you save, because these things are designed to waste your time on purpose. Well, Brave is designed to raise your productivity on purpose. You remember that, when computers used to make your life easier instead of harder? If you don't follow me on Instagram, you may never know. You may never find out what God just did to us, man. Also, check out yesterday's side view sunrise. It's classic. I think there's the full 10 movies in there. Classic side view sunrise. And for all you purple sky enthusiasts, there's a huge amount of purple sky on there. So share with your friends and your foes. Also on Facebook, if you care to use such a platform. Also on Gab. Gab.com/smAsho. And on Minds, the future of social media. As we approach 500,000 views with our meager 706 subscribers, we showcase our awesome thumbnails. Once again, like this one, which features a carbonyl sulfide molecule over the word weather. Minds.com/smAsho. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Press the notification bell, and perhaps become our next patron. As YouTube pays us nothing for these videos, they show you ads because our channel is monetized. And when we say it's monetized for Google, not for us. So if you want to monetarily support the channel, watching the ads doesn't do it. Skip the ads. And understand that Google transcribes everything I'm saying. So transcribe that, Google. And thanks, Smash Team. Let's talk about a climate change implication of tiny airborne particles. Well, the implication is global cooling. Smoke itself is an albedo-raising effect, as smoke is typically always light in color. It also blocks infrared light from making it all the way to the Earth's surface, thereby heating it up. Anyway, you're going to hear all kinds of articles everywhere about tar balls. And this is the vaguest, most science-lacking article I've ever seen. And I'm sure it's because the climate implications of tar balls is not a warmer planet. And there's no way they can figure out how to spin. All they're doing is they're saying that there's going to be more tar balls because the planet's so hot that it's burning up. As if temperature and like number of wildfires and size of wildfires has anything to do with each other. So anyway, we've got links to this article in the description below the video. Please read it if you're interested in this stuff. Anyway, they don't tell you the climate implications of the tar balls. They just try to clickbait you into reading the article by saying, hey, there are climate change implications. In that, I guess the theory is that the planet will be hotter and there'll be more tar balls, which make the planet cooler, and that just confuses them to the point where they can't understand it. Saturn's impossible rotation. Super interesting article here. Not a whole lot to comment except the fact that it's very difficult to figure out how Saturn rotates. We are happy to see the word plasma in their model. That's for that we thank you. And been trying to figure out what the length of a day on Saturn is, and it's got a similar tilt to the Earth's axis. So yeah, interesting article about trying to figure out Saturn's rotation. And let's talk about the implication of what things are made out of. How does the Earth work? Well, the Dynamo theory is a completely unproven theory that there is a liquid nickel metallic iron core that rotates around in different layers, and these things are spinning at different rotations, and that creates a dynamo. Okay, well, there are some problems, such as the Curie point, since iron is not conductive once you get it to a certain temperature, like around where it becomes liquid. The only thing you need for Earth to have a geomagnetic field is for the Earth to be conductive or a magnet and to be moving through a magnetic field or electrical current. That's all you need. If you take an object with free electrons and you start moving it through an electric field, it starts to get a geomagnetic field. So let's talk about what things are made out of. Now, all the Earth has to be is a magnet moving through a field. That's it. If you take a magnet and you move a magnet through an electric field, or you could say an electromagnetic field, that magnet is going to have a field coming out of it. Its B field. It's going to pass through it. That's all you need. There is no observational evidence of this liquid metallic iron core of the planet. And I've just done this crude drawing here with the red and the blue to represent the different, the positive or the negative field flow current, whatever you want to call it, depending on what branch of science you're from. Let's talk about metallic hydrogen. Coincidentally, it's very important into how things work, folks. Now, we've made it in a lab. We took some diamonds and this vise and we smashed them together. We smashed and we mashed some hydrogen together. And now it's been lost because the vise is broke. But what happens to hydrogen when it gets very compressed is that it becomes extremely conductive. It becomes, in fact, a superconductor. It's able to conduct electricity without any impedance. What are the implications of that? Well, we're starting to understand the fact that places that have giant geomagnetic fields like Jupiter, and indeed Saturn, have liquid metallic hydrogen in them. They're massive enough to create a high enough pressure to have liquid metallic hydrogen. Let's talk about another YouTube channel, Sky Scholar, which I'm pleased to see is at over 16,000 subscribers. Let's play a clip about what the sun is made out of. Hint, it's liquid metallic hydrogen. If you didn't know, it's liquid metallic hydrogen. Dr. Robitaille did not take out a $300,000 full-page New York Times Sunday edition advertisement to tell everybody that the sun's made out of liquid metallic hydrogen for his health. Well, actually, I guess you could probably say he did, because the implications of this across the rest of the universe and across cosmology are, let's just say, significant. So when we say that this is a neo-renaissance and that physics and astrophysics is being rewritten before your very eyes, if you think we're exaggerating, Here's a clip.
The only difference is that we do not have true bonds like the sp2 hybridized molecular orbitals in graphite. So what keeps the structure of metallic hydrogen together? The answer is simple. The only requirement is that the hydrogen nuclei must be close enough to each other to allow for the proper quantum conditions to enable the formation of the conduction bands.
Anyway, watch the video. We've linked it below this video. Understand things like intercalate layers and free electrons, because these are the things we need for stars to work and for accurate cosmological models to add up to the way the universe really works. So stay tuned for one bonus feature, just one, because I am later than a pregnant woman who's 8 months. 171 actions view. Let's zoom in on that filament in the northeast. Did it eject? Please leave a comment if you think it ejected, or if you think it collapsed back onto the chromosphere. Anyway, we're out. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your day. Stare at the sun, if you like. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.